Dr. Diane Schneider. I'm a vibration medicine specialist. I'm also a teacher of Harp. And I guess if you've found this posting, you're looking for a Harp teacher. Maybe you own a Harp already. Maybe you don't yet own a Harp or renting a Harp. But I'm offering today just a short, no-cost lesson that will encompass some of the rudiments of Harp, just to get you started to begin to think about some of the basics that are required to start your study of Harp. I'm going to have a series of 5 lessons for a special price that you can check into just below this video. And if you're interested, after you hear this video, you could also contact me directly if you were interested in having Zoom lessons with me. We also have Hamish sitting in on the little lesson today. He's a very beautiful little guy who loves Harp music. So you can see with your own eyes how the music relaxes him and usually puts him to sleep. Let's dig right in on some of the basics of Harp, and we're going to start with posture. One of the great things about Harp, it really encourages you to sit up straight. You develop a straight spine when you start your Harp lessons. So we just sit with ourselves balanced on the seat. We move up about halfway on the seat, feet flat on the floor. We have here a non-pedal Harp. These are the slightly smaller Harps. This Harp has 33 strings. And all Harps, whether they are non-pedal Harps or pedal Harps, have a certain balance point. So we start by finding the balance point on a Harp. I think this Harp's kind of a magical Harp because the balance point almost just finds itself. And it's simply the point where the Harp kind of wants to stand on its own. Once you find the balance point, you simply put your shoulder up to the Harp. You may have to scoot up a little bit on your bench. Generally, the seating is about 19 inches from the floor, but that's going to depend on the type of Harp you have. I rent Harps like this to my students if they're in the greater Cincinnati area, because my studio is in northern Kentucky. But you might have a pedal Harp or a smaller lap type Harp. So that's going to help you decide which height you want for your seat. Normally, when we turn to the right, our eyes would be opposite the hardware. That's one rule of thumb that you can use for getting a good seat. Also, when we put our arms out, this is generally the area that we will be plucking in. So it's kind of in the center of the strings, not a true center because the bass strings have to be longer, but we don't want you getting uncomfortable in the shoulders, so we would suggest that the best plucking and the best sound on a Harp comes from being in the center of the strings. Now, let's take a look at fingering and plucking. First of all, we finger the hands. Thumb is finger number 1, pointer finger number 2, 3, and 4. Pinky just comes along for the ride. Although I did give a concert once when a woman came up to me afterwards and said, "I saw you using your 5th finger to play." And I said, "Well, no, we only use 4 fingers on each hand in Harp." "Oh, no, I saw you playing with all 5 fingers." So at that point, all I could say was, "Okay." So she's convinced that I am playing with 10 fingers. I assure all of you, I am only playing with 8 of my fingers, like any well-trained, conservatory-trained harpist. So now that we've numbered the fingers, let's start with the pointer finger, and I'm going to show you, that's finger number 2, I'm going to just show you the way that we will be plucking on Harp. Again, I'm a professionally trained, conservatory-trained harpist, so I have learned the certain techniques that have been revered through the ages that came up to us from the famous harpists such as Marcel Grangeny and Carlos Salcedo. Many teachers use a combination of techniques that they have learned over the years. But you will hear there's always a kind of friendly debate in the harp world about which kind of technique are you using. So I'm teaching a salzedo technique primarily. So again, taking the second finger, let's place it on middle C. The C's of the harp are red, the F's are black. And it's arranged like a piano in that we have octaves C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then start over C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and so on. This harp ends on C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So we have actually 2 full octaves below middle C. And this is a Lion and Healy Troubadour 1. Lion and Healy is up to Troubadour 6 now, newer models of this same type of harp. But I enjoy playing the style 1, the Troubadour 1s, because they really have a good tone. You can put gut string on them, and they're very resilient and have a very beautiful warm resonance. So when we pluck with fingers 2, 3, or 4, we're going to pluck the finger directly to the palm. We pull back a little bit, kind of reminiscent of a bow and arrow, and then close flat on the palm. And I'm going to demonstrate this for you with a little flapping exercise that I give to my students. And it goes like this, where we simply show you the closing technique. Second, third, and fourth fingers close flat into the palm. Thumb closes over the second finger. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And as I say, 5 just comes along for the ride. 1, 2, 3, 4. This just kind of relaxes the hand a bit, and I advise beginners to do a little bit of the flapping exercise before they start their practice session. We also do it with what we do with the right hand, we try to do with the left. So 2, 3, 4, and the 1, the thumb. Sometimes I advise students to maybe practice 5 or 10 plucks with the thumb, like this, kind of air playing. Then 2, and checking to be sure that you're closing flat. 3, 4 or 5 times maybe, and 4. In the beginning, this is going to feel pretty awkward. My first harp teacher, Joan Cheo, really wonderful professional harpist, used to say, if it feels completely abnormal, you're probably doing it right. I don't know whether I'd go that far, but you may, especially with the left hand, if you are a right-handed person, you're going to feel more awkward, and it's going to take more time for the fingers to begin to work independently. But that's our goal. We're trying to get fingers on both hands to begin to have a life of their own. Each finger learning how to close and open independent of the other fingers. In everyday life, we're used to using all 5 fingers to pick up a suitcase, pick up books, but in harp, we're really changing it around and getting individual activity for each finger. So let's go back to the plucking. We're going to place the finger on C. The arm is about at a 45-degree angle, not chicken wing in the air, but about 45 degrees and slightly parallel to the floor. We just don't want the elbows to be near the body, so we want to bring them out about 45 degrees. Shoulders down and relaxed. Here's an important thing that I'd like you to remember. We don't ever want to bring tension to the harp. There's already about 2,000 pounds of pressure on the harp, so we want to use that pressure and tension. We don't want to bring tension to it. So when we pluck, I'm going to hold my hand this way with thumb up. That's another very important point. Thumbs are almost always up when we're playing. And I'm going to pluck 2, and you may want to do this with me. and checking that you're closing flat as you're doing it. Not curling up. We don't want the little pig's tails, okay? So closing into the palm with 2. Let's try 3. And let's try 4. Now let's try placing 4, 3, 2, 1. Thumb on F. 4, 3, 2. And here's your chance to practice the thumb. Thumb closing onto the second finger. Again, hands should feel relaxed. So if you start to feel tension, just stop for a moment, shake it out a little bit, and gently place back again. This is definitely a situation where if there's pain, there is no gain. So we don't want pain or cramping. Let's try this again. 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's go the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to have a separate video for people that need some practice in reading music. If you have played or do play a treble instrument, you might be quite good at reading the treble, mostly in the right hand, but for bass notes you might need a bit of a refresher, and I will have a video on that as well. You can check below for that information. Hey, one of the things that you can do that's a little bit fun before you actually maybe have a teacher or begin lessons is a glissando, or as we call it, a gliss. And you can take the second finger and just gently draw it up the strings and make that pretty harpy sound that everybody wants to hear and wants to play. It is fun to play. Just be careful if you're a beginner that you don't develop a blister by doing that too many times, or do it very lightly. Or you might have a lighter tension string on your harp strings, in which case you will not develop calluses and blisters as easily. You may not at all. For going down, we use the thumb. So we have the hand in normal position, thumb high, 2, 3, and 4, curve somewhat down, as we had in our exercise. So we would just take the hand in its normal position like that, kind of like home base position, and use the thumb to come down. It's fun, huh? I think we all enjoy the sound of the gliss. So that's the basic information about plucking, and just begins to give you something that you might work on if you already have a harp at home. If you want to get in touch with me directly, please feel free to email healingharpist@hotmail.com, healingharpist@hotmail.com, or you can also check out my website, harpofhope.com, harpofhope.com. I'm sorry, harpofhope.com. All right, I was correct. Thank you so much. It's great to have you here today listening and learning, and I hope to be here to help you with your harp journey. Bye for now.